Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast, your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
We got a soup terrorist. Rayner's blowing a canister, and we're the most wanted in the country. But don't you worry. Daddy's home.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of the Stuff and Things Podcast. I am Sam, talking about the latest episode from The Boys. Joining me to discuss, it's Stefan.
I still think that's probably the best intro to all of our shows.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Also, when he says Daddy's home, when we're talking about this week's episode, I'm just glad I didn't get to hear that again.
Well, yeah.
Because connotation could be very different.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I think our intro could get better if it was the speech about the Spice Girls.
Well, we had that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do still have that somewhere. I may have to dig that out for the season finale, perhaps.
Just it was fun. But wow, what an episode.
Okay, so
we have a lot to talk about.
The Boys Season 3, Episode 6, the title of the episode was...
Herogasm!
Even... I said this to you earlier on. We used the word hero in a completely different context in a sentence earlier on. I saw it written down and my brain went, gasm.
Yeah.
No. Do not destroy the word hero for me.
I think we get in enough trouble at the moment for destroying things, so let's not add the boys to it.
Yes, let's move on quickly. We are discussing an episode called Herogasm. We discussed a little bit on last week's show, nervousness going into it.
Yep.
The creators of the show amped that up to 11 with their social media campaign going into it.
Mate, the actors, everyone was on board, weren't they? Everyone
went to town. I got to the day of watching it, and it suddenly hit me. What if they've been trolling us? What if we basically get to this episode, and it's not what we thought it was going to be? Now, as it was, we did get a segment within the episode, which can only be titled, What the Fuck? But
yeah,
it wasn't the wall-to-wall psychological gangbang I feared it was going to be.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one.
I'm glad. Me and you have contrasting emotions on this, and I think our listeners can judge us based on this.
No, don't judge him. Don't judge him, because I realised, when you messaged me earlier,
I went into this and I was kind of like, I had all of these dark ideas of like, oh no, what if they've got Maeve tied up? No, all these dark imagery, and then just the grossness of what we could see, like they're a character called Love Sausage. All this, I'm like, oh no, this is going to be so bad. Think about the first part of episode 1. If that was tame compared to this, oh no, what are we going to see? So I got into it with fear and the fact that it was this scene, an extended scene in the middle of a whole episode, which was very good. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I feel okay. It was gross in a comical way almost, and I'm glad that's okay, all right, we're good. You, however, are disappointed you didn't get to see a superhero gangbang.
I mean, it's not quite. I don't want it read out quite like that.
Would you like me to read the messages?
I was just like, everyone built it up like everything you've seen so far has been PG compared to what it was. Like, let's be honest, things we've seen in The Boys so far. So we can go as far as the Deep trying to save a dolphin and a lobster.
Yep.
Them driving a boat into a whale.
Yep.
A man inside another man's penis sneezing.
Oh, wow, that went wrong.
What else have we seen? We've also had... Translucence death scene.
Yep, love that.
We've seen all of these real, whoa, my God, sort of things.
Yeah.
And they're all like, yep, everything you've seen so far is PG compared to what you're going to see in this. And I'm sat there like, holy crap, this is going to be next level messed up.
Yeah.
And I think the worst thing we really saw was Eminem open a door.
Now, yeah, we'll come back to that.
And I got to the end of it and I was kind of like,
because that guy's clothes might be able to get washed, his skin, but his soul is now covered. His soul is never
recovering from that. Like, I kind of got to the end of the episode and I was like, I don't think we really saw anything that was more than what we've seen before.
Yeah. So you wanted more graphic sex, is what you're saying?
No, I wanted to be disturbed, I think. Yeah.
You wanted more graphic sex? That's fine, man. Look, we all have our kinks, and this was your thing. You know, that's cool, and I think everyone listening to this will understand.
I am being judged so...
There are a lot of people listening to this.
I can already see Ryan Miller's message. I can already see it popping up in our inbox when he's listening to this.
Hey, he might well message you going, hey, I'm with you, buddy. I was there, the tissues to one side, the Vaseline.
Oh, no.
Okay, we'll move on. We'll move on. Look, we're talking about The Boys. I'm allowed to make jokes like this on this show.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is the only show I am completely unleashed. Everything else I have to be so measured. Yeah. But if you're watching The Boys and then you complain about anything I say on here, wow. Because...
It doesn't make sense, that sense, yeah.
No, it doesn't. So I've broken down the episode into sort of following different characters throughout it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do it that way, if you're happy. So I'm going to start with the duo I never knew I needed, which was Starlight and MM.
Yeah,
basically picking up from the aftermath.
Yeah.
No, and they're great together. They're picking up the aftermath of the last episode. MM's obviously in a very bad place mentally. Starlight's sort of trying to make sure he's okay.
Yep.
They have a really interesting conversation about his OCD, and we get the origin of that linked to Soldier Boy and what actually happened.
Man, yeah, wow.
Yeah, that's gonna mess you up.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realise, obviously we didn't realise because that was the whole point of this scene and him telling us.
Yeah.
But you don't realise just that his OCD stuff has almost been like jokey. Like, the birthday party and sorting out the plates into the correct colours of the party and bits like that. And
it's sad. It's kind of, it's dark. It's not good. And, he has to do these things because otherwise people will die. And I think it's in this show, which is so over the top and so kind of piss-taking, it's actually, if you watch it and you pay attention, there's a lot of stuff in here which is actually just really great content in terms of normalizing and teaching. So, it is very easy just to mock someone with OCD. It is. It's very easy. Like, I have a sibling who, literally in his words, if he doesn't tap a light switch 3 times before he puts it on, the world might end. So I've mocked him my entire life for that, but in his head that's real. you know, and if he isn't able to do it, can you imagine how much that would freak you out? And I think this is a great example with just a very, very real, very, very awful traumatic event has left him with this something in which people can belittle, like you said about the birthday party, like, oh, look what you're up to. Yeah. But, it's very real, very scary for him.
On TV as well, the way things like this are depicted on television. So the only other character I can think of straight away that has any sort of OCD is Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory, where he has to knock on the door 3 times. And, that is completely hilarious.
Penny.
Yeah, and that is hilarious. And that's kind of how it's depicted. Whereas this show...
One of the things I loved about that is she did it mockingly once to Sheldon, not Sheldon, and he opened the door and went, careful, you'll like it. And she's like, yeah, I kind of did. Yeah. He's like, that's how it starts.
But to then have this show the complete other side of why
massively the other side of the spectrum,
Yeah.
Although I'm fairly confident the Big Bang Theory Harold would love the Boys show. I think this would be right up his alley.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, pun intended. The two of them are on an adventure basically to try and track down T and T. I have to say that right.
Yeah.
Because they work out that that's where Soldier Boy's likely going to go next.
He is after his old crew. Yeah.
And they arrive at T and T's home, and they're throwing a little bit of a party, dude.
A party that, as it gets mentioned throughout this, Frenchie is going to be just gutted he's missing.
I love that so much.
Everyone
I love that.
Mate, he's going to be heartbroken.
Yeah. I loved how independently and Butcher were just like, oh, Frenchie's going to be so pissed off we missed this. Yeah. MM's like, oh, Frenchie. So basically they arrive, and it is Herogasm. This is where a tradition that goes back, I think someone said 70 odd years.
Yeah, the intro bit for the episode is like, the 70th annual Herogasm. So yeah.
Yeah. So basically they are throwing superheroes banging soups and some normal people who were getting all kinds of messed up in this. And
yeah,
we get to see
hired for this event. What?
We get to see Love Sausage again.
Yeah, one of MM's favourites.
And once again, MM has to wear that penis as a scarf for a while.
Yeah,
I'm not
get that thing off of me. Get that Love Sausage off of me. Oh, I like that name.
Yeah, I'm not sure where to go with that. I mean, there's a sentence. I've now said that sentence twice in my life, I think, about MM having a penis scarf for a time.
Yeah.
I'm not... I don't feel good. That's not... I shouldn't be saying that.
Like, again, you can go wash your hands, but you cannot wash your socks.
Yeah. No. And, of course... they go inside, and we get to see basically what's going on. Now, this is your time to shine, man. So I'll hand over to you here, because this is obviously the bit you were really focused on.
No, we see all sorts. We see a man.
We do. We see.
He's creating a toy out of ice.
Yes.
Which was
yes,
rather large, and I do feel sorry for the woman that was paid to be there.
That looked like that hurt, to be honest with you. I'm not convinced that was pleasurable in any way.
No.
Definitely cold. We see a lot.
Times. Yeah, it's mentioned a few times that the women that they've got there are underprepared. Paid. Yeah.
Yeah. It's messed up, right? The stuff we're seeing is messed up. Everything's consensual, but everything's messed up.
Yeah.
And it is going off. It's everywhere. It's everywhere you look. And little Starlight as well is like looking around like, oh, sorry, excuse me. Oh, no, I got a lovely penis. Thank you. You know, yeah. She's just like completely not in her element at all. MM's looking around, clearly with that, Frenchie would love this. Oh, poor Frenchie.
He's going to be heartbroken he's not seeing this.
We then see the shrinking guy, which I don't know if his actual name's Cockroach, or if that's just what they nicknamed him.
I think let me have a little look on my IMDb.
You carry on, but he's there. We see him come up to full size, and he is covered in the
substance.
Love juices of who he was just inside, and he walks into MM covering one arm of MM's jacket in before mentioned love juice. MM is freaked out by this. He's like, names. MM is freaked out by this. He's not happy. He's, really, really not good. He just wants to find a bathroom, just wants to get himself cleaned up, and he opens a door just as I believe the love sausage goes off. And
yeah.
If you've, I mean, anyone listening to this has seen the episode, but if I was to try and describe this in words, I would say MM has ejaculated on like an elephant would unload its trunk of water.
Yeah, like a fire hydrant going off. Yeah, I think his name is Termite.
Oh, okay.
That's the closest thing I've found
that would make
so
sense.
far on here. Hence why they call him Cockroach.
Okay,
all right. Out of him,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, yeah, poor MM. Poor
MM. MM might be able to wash those clothes. I mean, personally, I'd burn them myself.
Like, he's already gone to go wash his jacket. Well, he's off to go and wash his jacket, and so it's like, oh no.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. You can get rid of those clothes. You can scrub your skin raw. That's there now. That's never leaving his mind.
No, that is something.
And
I've seen.
I mean, I'd say I'd want to give the guy.
Things.
Yeah, I'd say I'd want to give that guy a hug, but right now I really don't.
I can't think of much worse.
No, that's so bad, so bad. Like I said, we are going to jump around this and follow it from different places, but I do just want to kind of finish up the arc for these guys because
careful how you word these things.
Yeah, Soldier Boy, and Butcher and Hughie arrive.
Yeah. And
obviously wants to go after Soldier Boy, and Butcher gets in his way.
Yeah.
And Hughie gets in Starlight's way. There's basically an altercation between both sets. I mean, literally fights Butcher, and Starlight knocks Hughie on his ass.
Yeah, really does, he literally takes a baseball bat.
Yeah. I mean, obviously in that moment, Butcher's souped up, Hughie's souped up, but do you think that this actually? Do you think this is beyond repair now?
The only person I can see bringing them all back together is Frenchie.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's in his own shit.
Really know how. Yeah, he's dealing with his own stuff now, and potentially just going to run away with Kimiko now because they're like, "Yeah, I'm done." I wouldn't blame them.
No, I mean, we'll definitely come on to that, but I just
I don't see how
I'm looking at it like I don't see Hughie and Starlight. I think are done as a couple. I mean, I actually very much like Hughie as a character, but I think he is really let her down twice now.
Yeah, she has
in this episode in particular.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, in this episode in particular, I think she's kind of like, all the men that I've ever been with have been intimidated by the fact that I'm stronger and everything like you weren't that, or at least you told me you weren't that. And yet we saw a very clever demonstration of him trying to open jars. Remember?
Yeah.
And she would always do it for him. And then we saw that when he lost his temper, that he couldn't open it, he smashed it. And we were like, ooh, Hughie's not doing so good.
Yeah.
And I feel like, although perhaps this particular version of V isn't an addictive drug, you're not addicted to it as if you hooked on the heroin or something like that, but I think Hughie's... Yeah, I think that's the issue. I think he's now hooked on it based on the fact of how it makes him feel whilst he's on it. He feels stronger, he feels more capable. He says, do you want stupid me? See, the thing is quite upsetting, is in that moment you kind of want Butcher to be the guy to say, no, Hughie, you do add something to the team. You don't need this. But no, not Butcher. That's not him. He's like, you're right. Actually,
there you go.
You're right. You're an adult. You make your own mind up, son. Here you go. Which again is disappointing because I think Butcher is never going to be the character I want him to be, which is part of the fun of the show, I guess, because you kind of want to like him, but at the same time you have to admit he's a real asshole.
Yep.
So, but yeah, Butcher and I don't know. I mean, MM's forgiven him for being an asshole, or, he's not really being anything he's never not been.
That is very true. Yeah, he is. He's living up to his character.
Yeah, and he, what he said to Maeve was so true as well in that moment. I hate this stuff because it just makes me more me. And Hughie, who, we discussed in the past was like his grounding station, is frigging full on taking it with him. It's like, oh my God. The one guy who was able to maybe get Butcher be less Butcher is like, no, Butch, you're right, let's kill them all. No!
That moral compass has warped slightly, I think, yeah.
Oh, it's gone. It's completely gone. So, at the end of this episode then, Starlight and again are back. It's the two of them. They're back dealing with the fallout of all the events. And we get a scene where films Starlight going low. She basically says they're going to regret making me America's sweetheart. So she's got a massive social media following, and she goes on and she literally calls them all out, including Homelander, and then quits. I am no longer Starlight. I am Annie January.
I feel like that is going to have some repercussions.
Well, let's dive into that. I mean, Vault repercussions are one thing, but Homelander repercussions?
Yeah, I think... I'm wondering which one of the two is actually going to be the worst for her. Like, Homelander will just kill her. That's fine. Straight out, boom, dead. Vault, on the other hand... That could be bad. Like, we still don't know what's happened to Queen Maeve, so, you know.
Yeah, and that's the terrifying thing, is like what then happens, because I'm guessing she's thinking because she's that much in the public eye, she kind of has an element of protection from that.
She can't,
because exactly, you know, like Maeve's gone missing. They said, oh, she's in rehab, whereas she's literally just gone on live stream to call out what's happened. Name Soldier Boy, name Homelander as a piece of shit, call out Vault for being liars, and, you know, if she vanishes, everyone's going to be put 2 and 2 together pretty fast.
Yeah, whoopsie, I wonder where. Yeah,
so, I don't know, I still, like, as an end of an arc with her and MM in this episode, I was just like, holy shit, did not see that coming.
Yeah, that was, when he says to her, are you sure about this, or are you ready for this? And I was like, uh-oh. What's about to happen? And then she starts recording live on, like, Instagram or Facebook, whatever it is.
Well, I honestly thought she was going to be calling out Hughie. I thought this was going to be calling out Hughie, Butcher, and she was going to go, right, the people we're after is Soldier Boy, Butcher, and Hughie, you know, and I was going to be like, oh, wow. That's cold.
I didn't even think that way. Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming out. Another scene involving Annie January, not Starlight, as she's now known, or should be known, is with Victoria Newman.
Now, this scene was interesting, because I really thought that she was going to go with her. I really thought Annie was going to go with Newman. And then she stood up and she didn't, and I was like, oh... Yeah, something about it just made me think to myself, okay, like, she's admitted that she knows that everyone knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And then it was, help me, help my daughter and stuff like that. And when she did that, I thought, that part of Annie's going to be like, this is how I do the right thing and actually help.
Yeah, no. See, the thing that I find interesting in that scene is the Victoria Newman is basically Homelander, but a woman. She has that unbelievable power and is just a dick with it. Like, if you think about what she was in that moment, like, she basically, and because she's got that power, she's got that sense of kind of like, I'm always in charge. And when she was talking to Starlight, her eyes lit, you know, when she said, oh, is Hughie just worried I'm going to pop his head?
Yeah.
And, like, Starlight's eyes went, and she went, oh, don't, you'd lose.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, oh, wow. And then when she did that appeal, like you said, I was like, I mean, she's saying the words, but she's doing it in a really cocky-ass way. Like,
yeah.
And so when she shot her down, do you notice how quickly her demeanour went to, okay, well, I'll kill you later then.
Basically,
you know, just total. What's interesting to me, okay, is I've been trying to think is, if this show decided to kill Homelander, Anthony Starr, incredible, but I do think for longevity you need to be able to move beyond just one villain. Otherwise it's just going to become recycled.
Yeah.
Every season, Homelander being Homelander. It feels like this feels like it's coming to a head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if every single season is just Butcher trying to get a Homelander.
Yeah.
It becomes less about the boys, it just becomes like a rerun of them two. Yeah.
Yeah, so I kept thinking to myself, well, that's got a season 4. The comics are kind of up to where they are as well. So how would you possibly do it and continue with this kind of fight? And, well, let's say Homelander somehow is killed in this. Okay. Whether it be Soldier Boy or however it happens, Homelander is killed at the end of this season. And then the final episodes is this guy coming back into Vault, and the new chairman of Vault, the new CEO to clean up everything, Victoria Newman.
And we're all like, oh no. Yeah.
And the boys would just be like, oh, it's gone from bad to worse.
Yeah.
Because you think about her ability, like, yeah, she's not flying around with a cape. No, she's not doing any of that. But if she doesn't like you, she'll look at you and kill you. that's straight
scary.
up Greek, straight up Greek mythology, Medusa shit. It's just like, oh, what am I gonna do? So that is interesting, and I think that would enable the show to continue, enable a kind of struggle. The one thing that happens in the comics, which I wouldn't like going to the show, and this is purely me personal, is that Butcher becomes a villain after Homelander dies. I wouldn't like that.
Now, someone was saying to me about that's the way the comic books have gone or something.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
That was you, yeah. So
thanks for listening, dude. Come on.
No, you started saying it, and my brain went straight to what I was about to say, and I kind of cut.
You started talking, and my brain went, "God, he's boring."
No, my brain went, "Oh my God, that's what's happening in the comics." Oh, I've got to talk about that, and then missed you actually saying in the comic book.
I'm like trying to get an audience for this podcast, and even my co-host don't want to listen to me. This hurts, man.
My brain gets so like overpowered by what I'm like. "That's a really good point. Don't forget it. Don't forget it."
How many times do me and you on any show we do go, we'll circle back to that, and then just totally forget.
And then 20 minutes later after recording, message each other and go, did we not talk about this?
That circle, we never returned to the circle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that, like I said, that for me is kind of like, that would be a way of doing it. Yeah. Definitely. And it would end this series with a kind of like, oh, wow. No. I mean, not how they do. But who knows? Who knows where it's going to go? I mean, there is definitely differences because, like we said, in the comic books, Black Noir is a clone of Homelander.
Yeah, in this,
he's kind of like the Vault insurance policy of like Homelander ever goes off the rails, they just unleash Black Noir on him.
Which is really a cool thing, but at the same time, it wouldn't, I don't think, work as well in this.
No, and they've created his own character in his own right, which is good. Following Homelander in this episode, then, we get to see that he's feeling the pressure of being in charge, which I find quite interesting. He's very, he's basically seized power, but now he's got it. He's, heavy is the head that wears the crown. He's struggling with that.
And there's a few scenes in this episode with him that are amazing.
Well, I was just about to say, Black Noir finds out that Soldier Boy's still alive.
Yep.
And runs.
Man, he cuts out his chip and goes.
He fucking legs it. Now, initially I thought, oh wow, he wants to be with Soldier Boy. He's gone to join up with him.
Exactly where my brain went.
Nope. Everything's pointing towards he was part of the group that betrayed him, so he is getting the flock out of there.
Yeah, for me, I went straight to, oh my God, he's cut the chip out.
He's Team Soldier Boy.
Homelander can't find him. And he's going back to his original leader. Oh, this is awesome. Yeah. And then you're like, no, wait a minute.
No, Soldier Boy's hunting them all, and So we later find out as well that TNT tells Soldier Boy that it was Black Noir's idea. They're like, no, Noir was the one who set the whole thing up. I mean, that would definitely explain why he ran.
Yeah, that suddenly makes you go, oh yeah, he's run away. He hasn't gone to join him. He is getting flocked out. Yeah. He is currently in a non-extradition country avoiding Soldier Boy. Yeah.
We get to see Homelander have a...
smallest island you can, I will live there.
Yeah, just on my own, eating coconuts. We get to see Homelander have an absolute meltdown in an interview.
Yep.
Again, feeling the pressure. Probably one of the standout scenes in this show, any season, in this episode, and any episode of this show, I think, is Homelander stood by the mirror.
Yeah, this is a scene, I mean, this is a heck of a scene.
Anthony Starr, we've discussed it, how he's been able to make Homelander menacing in every scene because you don't feel comfortable. You feel like at any moment he could just kill the person he's talking to, which is a phenomenal thing for a TV show.
Yep.
But I had no idea that this guy could do that talking to himself in the mirror.
Yeah. Wow.
How did he get it so his reflection made me feel uncomfortable for him? That's next level. I don't know how they did that, but they did it.
And you almost feel sorry for the real Homelander because he's getting a proper dressing down from his reflection.
it's a straight. It's like his psychosis. He has got an element of humanity where he wants people to love him and he wants to do good.
Yeah.
And this voice, this neurosis, this kind of the man in the mirror literally just tears that down. And it's like, this is why you're weak. This is why you lose. This is why you don't get good. This is why you're not the best. It's because you care about these, piss ants.
Yeah.
The idea that he is unleashed. Yeah, the idea that he is unleashed without that burden is terrifying. And in this episode, I gotta say it, he then has a moment where he's back in front of the mirror later on, and there is no reflection anymore. It's just him.
That is terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, the kind of, he is not having that kind of inner battle between, the little angel on one shoulder, the devil on the other. It's now just straight up, little angel's gone. Mm-hmm. It is the humanity completely gone. It is purely Homelander in full-on kill mode. And as you just said, that is terrifying.
Yeah, it's going to lead to some interesting scenes, I think, in the last couple of episodes. If he has now lost that last little ounce of the humanity is now gone, what is going to happen now?
We get to see in this episode, for me again, probably my favourite fight in the Boys so far.
Yep.
Homelander shows up at Herogasm. Soldier Boy is there, and they lock eyes. Soldier Boy and Homelander's exchange is up there as some of just the best. By the way, Soldier Boy, that guy's got an incredible voice, don't you think?
Yes.
And Anthony Starr and Homelander's sort of saying to him like, oh, you were a hero to me growing up. You were the only one I ever thought could be, maybe close to me. Like a real passive-aggressive bitch slap.
Yeah, you were my hero growing up. I watched all your movies hundreds of times. You were the only one that was nearly as strong as me.
I love that.
Like,
and
talk about
Soldier Boy is basically just like sizing him up like, yeah, boy, you're wearing a cape.
Yeah.
It's just like, you ain't shit.
Yeah, and you're a cheap fucking knockoff. No, I'm the upgrade. It's like,
and then, the fight is phenomenal. But I do have to say, I think Homelander was getting the upper hand.
Oh, Homelander was winning, no questions.
I think he was winning. Butcher then steps in, because of course Homelander drops Butcher thinking he's killed him, because he doesn't know he's on V. Yeah. And then Butcher gets back up, and Homelander's response is just go, "Oh, William, what have you done?"
Yeah, like, I love that.
I was just again so menacing, and him and Butcher then go at it, and you're kind of like, okay, Butcher being able to throw hands with Homelander, you can now fully understand why he's done this to himself. He actually has the ability to punch the man he hates and do damage.
Yeah.
And so those two are like locking, and then they lock eyes with the laser eyes. And then we get probably my favourite moment where I just scream Edna from The Incredibles, "No capes!" Because Soldier Boy grabs him by the cape, slams him into the ground, slams him into the wall. Soldier Boy and Butcher go for the double punch and miss him.
Yeah.
Again, Homelander starts to get a little bit of the upper hand against two, which again is worrying a little bit. But then Hughie arrives. And Hughie lands some punches whilst teleporting. Now,
which I love, just as
I'm
a
not
scene
necessarily... So I'm not necessarily saying that Hughie was the difference maker here. I think the fact that just the numbers then finally managed to suppress Homelander. But I think there's two key points. One, Homelander is still, even against Soldier Boy, is still the top dog.
Yeah.
We've not, we thought Soldier Boy versus him could be even. It's not. 1-on-1, Homelander still wins that.
Yep.
But we have also learned that a group of them can take Homelander down. So,
which is what Maeve was kind of planning the whole time. Wasn't it?
Which is basically what Maeve's plan was. A group of them keeping him occupied, taking him down, and then someone killing him with a weapon. Now, we all assume the weapon that is Soldier Boy would kill Homelander. We don't know that.
No, apparently
we're all assuming it.
Fright. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because he's obviously got to fire it up, and in that moment, he wasn't able to do it. But do you imagine if Butcher learns what triggers him? Think
he's
about
just got his phone with some random Russian music. Like, wait for it.
Yeah, think about the
Wait.
Winter Soldier.
Yep.
The Winter Soldier arc in Captain America, where you say the designated words and it sets him off.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine Butcher just realizes, oh, right, okay. And he just downloads a track on his phone, and anytime he wants him to murder someone, he just plays it to him.
Yeah.
And then points him.
He's going to have a breakdown in 3, 2, aim, go! Yeah.
Yeah, which is worrying beyond all comprehension, to be honest with you.
Something you can imagine the boy is doing.
Yeah, with this show, there's more often than not you can imagine these things happening. Now, Soldier Boy does, of course, find TNT, and he levels them.
Yeah.
But again, it's kind of triggered because of like this music, Russian language. He hears it and he just blacks out and levels the whole house. There is a lot of death.
Yeah.
A lot of death. A lot of messed up death. People were doing some pretty messed up stuff when that happened.
Some of them went out with a bang. That's for sure. It was quite the climax.
Some of them went out with a bang. One of the characters who was there and enjoying a bit of man and squid time was the Deep, who was balls deep in calamari.
I mean, I didn't even know octopuses had orifices like that.
I'm guessing it's in the mouth. I don't know, in the gills. I don't know.
I don't know how it works.
It doesn't speak a lot to his manhood or deephood or depth. I don't know where to go with that. But yeah, he was having he was having a great time. Basically, just like Aquaman, he likes to fuck fish. Yeah, I don't know where to go. Do you know he gets hate online from Aquaman fans?
Which says
like
to me he's doing the thing perfect.
Real vitriol, like real hatred, and he just reposts it. It's great. Yeah.
Like, to me, that says he's doing what he's meant to be doing very well.
Yeah, bloody right he is. He, as I said, is ball deep in calamari, which is a sentence I've now said twice, and
more in your lifetime than you ever thought you would. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm saying it, but it's funny. He gets caught by Starlight. She takes a picture, by the way, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I'm going to send this to Homelander. He manages to escape.
Yeah. He manages to escape and takes his love partner with him in a bag filled with water. That was, again, so weird. Yeah. One of the other people who arrives at the orgy, the Herogasm event, is A-Train. Now, A-Train is there, very much on a mission, and he is there for Blue Hawk.
Yeah.
But he bumps into Hughie.
That's an interaction that was quite funny. I know you like fucking the suits, but I'm not one of them or something, yeah.
Yeah. That A-Train's quite fun. Now, A-Train's arc in this is interesting because, of course, this whole thing started for Hughie because A-Train ran through his then girlfriend.
Yep.
Leaving him stood on the side of the road, covered in blood, holding her severed hands.
Yep.
And their apology was like a check and a, sorry about that, dude, and whatever. And that's how he ended up with the boys and everything that happened from then on after.
Yeah.
Hughie is like, you never apologise. Hughie's feeling cocky because he's got superpowers right now. And what he doesn't realise is that earlier in this episode, A-Train's had this run-in with Ashley, which has woken his ass up.
Pretty much, yeah. He's
going mad about... Yeah, he's going mad about the cover-up. And she points out that we've covered up for you a lot. And... yeah, that seemed to have a real impact.
I think it kind of made him take that step back and go, "Oh, wait a minute, this is the other side of the coin, isn't it? Oh, right, yeah." It's one of those
because
things,
when he apologised to Hughie, he meant it.
Yeah, you could tell that was a And then Hughie punches him for it, and it's like, wait a minute, how the hell did you do that?
Yeah, yeah. That I mean, there's two parts to that. One is I think he really meant that apology.
Yeah.
And two, Hughie kind of dick moved it by hitting him. Like, if he'd just been an asshole and like his apology wasn't genuine and Hughie had decked him, you kind of gone, yeah, he deserved that. But you could actually tell he meant it. He genuinely meant it, and Hughie at that moment could have formed a new ally. But no, Hughie punches him instead because Hughie is currently V'd up and thinks he's freaking invincible.
Which I worry about. I really worry about that.
Starlight basically tells A-Train to get the hell out of there. You don't deserve a warning, but I'm giving it to you anyway, which I thought was fair.
Yep.
He does find Blue Hawk.
Now, this is a very interesting scene for me.
What, run with it then, dude, literally.
Literally. So, he's got A-Train, and it's a case of, he wants to talk to him. It's like, really, right now, there's a psychopath out there. And then he kind of obviously drops him to the ground. It's like, no. You've hurt someone, I'm getting revenge. And you know what he does? He slams him to the ground and brutally, brutal murder.
Yeah. I mean, he literally drags him across a state face into the pavement.
Yeah, that
until his body disintegrates.
But the problem at the same time is that A-Train's body is now basically. He always knew that if he used the power, it was like playing Russian roulette with his own heart. Yeah. And now we've left it, and I'm like, is he alive? Is he dead?
Well, I mean, I've literally written in the notes, he kills Blue Hawk, but does he die? Has he nearly died? I think he's nearly died. I think he's okay, but it's still left with a kind of, I don't know. But he took Blue Hawk out. I mean, that
was a heck of a thing, yeah.
that was a hell of a thing. That was something else.
There was a few different ways that he obviously could have got rid of Blue Hawk, but to use his power like that, you kind of sit there going, oh my god. Wow. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
No, there's a few other things with Soldier Boy I wanted to cover. He talks to Hughie when they're in a hotel room together.
Yes.
And he makes some Bill Cosby jokes, which I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe they're making these jokes. Oh, that's painful. Mm-hmm. Bill Cosby being America's daddy. And he went to a party once and he made his drinks really strong. I'm like, oh, Jesus, I can't believe you're doing this.
They have absolutely no filter.
No. Soldier Boy obviously talks about Herogasm and he's proud because he set it up.
That was his
baby. Did you hear who he established it with?
Oh, no.
He established it with Liberty. And of course, Liberty was the other name for Stormfront.
Oh, of course. Yep.
So he literally fought in World War II against the Nazis, and yet back in America, he was there setting up Herogasm with Liberty.
Who was literally a Nazi. Yeah.
He was literally a Nazi.
Mental.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of crazy. He also reveals that when he leveled that park, that block of people, he blacked out.
Yes.
And he says to Hughie something interesting, and I'd love to see if we dive into this more in his character, but he says, I'm not a bad guy, Hughie. I didn't mean to kill anyone. Now, a lot of the supes kill people and just don't care. Yeah. And that's been like a running theme, literally a running theme at one point. I'm going to be interested to see if that's different with Soldier Boy. I don't think it is. I don't think it's going to... I still have a bad feeling of where that's going to go with him. But right now, I did think that scene was interesting. I did find it interesting that he seemed to be kind of like, I don't like that I blacked out and hurt people.
Yeah,
that nice seemed to be genuine.
Because at the moment, the only soup that we've kind of had any sort of apathy from is Starlight. Mm-hmm. No one else gives
Starlight,
any crap at all.
Well, I think Maeve now. I think Maeve... After the airplane incident, I think that shook her back to reality of like, holy shit, what am I doing?
Yeah, the other guys do not care.
Yeah. Well, and A-Train's just had his moment. So maybe, again, if he's still alive...
it could be a case of they're all now going to have that.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see if a team of them does come together in a kind of better light. But then at the same time, even if they do that, if they're still being run by Vought, you know, what does that mean? And I still feel like Edgar's got some kill switch. I still feel like that guy's got something, because he was far too calm and cocky with Homelander.
Yeah.
Everyone else on the planet is terrified of him, and yet he isn't. He's ice cold. Even Homelander's like, wow, you're like, your heart rate's like steady. It's like you are not stressed one bit. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's just an ice cold son of a bitch. But I don't know.
Great reasoning for it.
I mean, it would be. It would just be that he's just nails. He doesn't. You know, he don't care. But
his whole idea is someone's gonna die at some point, so fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he did try and kill Grogu several times. So yeah. There's a niche reference. So the other part of this episode, which kind of got me, is Kimiko is in the hospital, and she did think Frenchie ran off after the kiss.
Yes.
Mate, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah,
I was
Kimiko.
like, no, someone go and tell her someone's kidnapped her. Okay. We then get a scene where Frenchie's stripped down and is basically like a dog, using a bicycle kind of chain clip
around
thing.
the neck to the post. Yeah.
And they've got their Frenchie has to choose between Sherry and Kimiko. So little Nina is going to kill one of them and he has to choose, or she's going to kill both of them and then him.
Yep.
Which is so messed up. Like, this whole scene, I'm like, what the hell? Who the hell is this? What the... I'm just...
I would have been interested to see which one he would have chosen.
I don't know. What's worse is I don't know. I'd love to think he picks Kimiko, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
I genuinely don't know.
Yeah.
Now, Kimiko doesn't leave things to chance. She breaks free and just straight up goes to town. And I'm like, does she have some of her power back?
No, Kimiko is just a monster.
She does. And that's, your great choice of words is she then freaks out because she's like, I always thought the monster was the V, but no, I'm the monster.
Yeah.
She messed that guy up though. Like, she stabbed him, I don't know, 100 times in the chest? She was taking no chances. After biting his
Achilles out, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you, I'm curious there, because she got a lot of punches to her already damaged midriff.
Yeah.
So if she's surviving that, I mean, maybe her powers have been diminished and are slowly coming. I don't know. I'm gonna be interested with that, but yeah, that was messed up. That was on a whole other level of messed up.
Yeah, that was a heck of a scene. It was a good fight scene, but a hell of a scene.
Oh, it was a great scene, but just kind of like, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of really invested in those two.
Yeah.
I want them two to be okay, and I feel like we're on a highway to one of them at least dying.
It's worrying.
And I'm like, please don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
I told you, I'm terrified of Frenchie. Terrified.
I also had a little bit of a thought. I was thinking about this kind of V for a day stuff, these doses. I was thinking to myself, would that be enough to give Kimiko her powers back to heal? Like, if Kimiko was dying from this, would one of those shots be enough to help her?
See, that's what I was
kind of thinking.
Yeah, because
I'm thinking, if you're trying to think of how could Butcher possibly redeem himself in the eyes of the group, he's got one shot of this stuff left. And perhaps he uses it, rather than using it to fight, he gives it to... Do you know what I mean? Like, that could be a legitimate way of Butcher redeeming himself.
But then the thing
is... It doesn't seem likely right now.
It seems like V gives everyone different powers. Like, ironically, it's given Butcher the same sort of powers as Homelander, with the strength and the laser eyes.
Yeah.
It's given Hughie the teleportation sort of thing.
Yeah.
But if you look at Kimiko, would it give her powers back, or would it give her something completely random?
Yeah. No, that's a fair point. We don't know.
They inject Kimiko, and all of a sudden she develops gills. They're like, wrong one.
Oh crap! Not another deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave that starfish alone, you sicko. Yeah. Mate, I think I've covered everything, but this episode was so packed. Is there any bits I've missed that you wanted to go over?
The deep singing Imagine at the beginning. Wow.
Well, I was deliberately leaving that, and I was gonna do that as an outro.
Legend.
But yeah, we talked last week about having a dig at the Pepsi advert.
Yeah.
This week they pull no punches with having a go at the tone-deaf celebrities who during lockdown sat in their mansions, decided to sing
6 days
Imagine.
of quarantine and they did a song. Yeah.
Yeah, like, thanks a bunch, you're really helping. How about, putting some money into a food bank or something, you assholes?
Yeah.
But anyway, they went for it, and they even got some celebrities to come on and help mock it, which I loved.
Yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Kutcher. Perry, I can't ever say his name. He's in loads of Marvel stuff. He was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Perry something.
Oh.
Perry Wilk.
Yeah.
It's going to drive me insane. I can't think of his bloody name now. But Oswald something or other. But yeah, he's in it. Just, yeah, it cracked me up. And if you stay to the end of our outro, you'll get a little treat. That's all I'm going to say. In that case, mate, I'm done. That was the boys' Herogasm. It wasn't the sex fest Stefan wanted, but it was still a good episode.
Not like that.
Until next week, everybody, you all take care. We'll be back real soon.
Oh dear, I don't even know where to. I'm out.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.
We're all in this together, and together we can imagine a better world. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people
living for today. Ha, 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 ha.
You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one.
I hope someday you will join us.